are desperately searching for a 9-month-old Tennessee girl after her mother allegedly gave her away to a complete stranger. Authorities say the mother, 19-year-old Lauryn Dickens, told them she gave away her daughter Lauryn to a total stranger and didn't report it for over a week. Dickens told cops that she had a conversation with the baby's father on September 7th, and the father allegedly told Dickens to give the baby away to an unknown white female. Dickens allegedly says that female arrived later that day, reportedly claiming to be a friend of the father, and took the child. Dickens has not seen her daughter since.
And breaking news tonight, cops are out at the scene of Dickens' apartment. Apparently they have sent homicide detectives and also cadaver dogs. Let's continue now if we could. Let's go with Lillian Glass, PhD. She is a psychologist, also a body language expert. You know, Dr. Glass, you're the perfect person to ask about this because neighbors were saying, how come she's not hysterical? She waits 8 days to basically report it. Who knows what changed it, and all of a sudden, 8 days later, surprise, let's mention that my baby's missing. What is going on inside this woman's head, even if you believe her story?
Absolutely, Rita. That's exactly the point. It's how she's approached this. We've seen this before with other cases in the news where the parent waits a long time and there's not that hysteria in terms of what's happened to the child. But what's really telling, she can't tell us the name of the person she gave the baby to, but she can tell the hair color, she can tell that it was parted down the middle, that detailed. She could tell that it was open-toed shoes. When someone gives that detailed information, it's often a signal of deception.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody, we're going to show you some of the pictures that you see there on the screen. These are photos of Lauryn Dickens, the mother, from what we believe to be her MySpace and also Facebook pages. So you can take a look at the woman who says that she gave her baby, a 9-month-old baby, to a stranger after she talked to her husband, who, by the way, in jail. What a great pair the two of them are. Let's go to Jason Miles, who's out at the scene where they are doing a search as we speak at the apartment there of the mother. Jason, you talked to her, right? Not that long ago, whatever, a little over a week ago. How did she act? Did she seem like a mother in distress?
It was Friday afternoon, Rita, after we initially learned of this baby being reported missing. I came by the apartment, obviously, to see if the mother would like to talk. Obviously, our interest was to help her find little Lauryn Dickens. She kept the door pretty closed, only opened about that much as I spoke with her, not on camera. She did not want to talk on camera, but she did not appear upset at all. She said she was interested in finding her baby, didn't know where the baby was, and didn't know anything about the lady who supposedly took the baby, but she did not seem distraught in the slightest. And as you mentioned, I was going to say a neighbor who told me, who has 3 or 4 children of her own, says, if this was my baby who was missing, I'd be at every apartment door in this complex, in this city, hysterical, searching for my child.
You bet. Jason, I think that's disgusting. Here she is, not upset. I think that's extremely telling. Let's go to the callers. Let's go to Marie from Wisconsin, who's on the line. Marie, what's your question? And, you know, as I hear this, Marie, I get sickened, thinking this poor little baby is missing. I pray she's alive tonight. And yet she's not upset? There's a problem here.
Oh, big time. But looking at the other flip side, just for a second, if indeed the mother wanted to be believed of that, why didn't she use the safe haven law, where you can bring a child to a fire department or a hospital or maybe a church where the child would be cared for or a home found for this baby instead of some stranger on the street?
You know, Marie, you bring up a great thing, and that's my point. If she couldn't financially or mentally handle the child, give it to someone who would love this beautiful baby. Let's go to Dr. Panchali Dar. She's a doctor of internal medicine, also the author of Before the Scalpel. Dr. Dar, you know, as we sit here, give the baby up to someone who will love this beautiful baby.
Yeah, that's definitely an alternative that someone can take if they find that they can't financially care for a child. I mean, the mother is 19 years old. How much capacity and support system does she have to take care of the needs of a kid that needs to be clothed, bathed? 9 months old, needs a lot of attention, and needs a loving and caring environment, which she could not provide. So that's a good alternative for someone who doesn't feel the capacity that they can care for their child, sure.
And yet Joe Lawless said the child's missing for 8 days. She doesn't report the child missing. What kind of a mother, what kind of a sick human being doesn't report, and as you heard from the caller, isn't frantic, isn't looking, you know, till heck of high water? I mean, this is nuts.
I think
Detective Majewski was right. I think something happened where she realized that someone noticed the child was missing, and now she's panicking and moving to cover her tracks. It would have been very easily done for her to take the child to a hospital, to take it into a police station. Something happened to this child. That's why the police are there searching for it. It took them a while to get probable cause, to get a judge to issue the warrant.
Why do you think it took so long? Why do you think?
You have her story, but then what they have to do is check it. They have to go interview the father at the prison. They have to check the prison records. They have to see if there was contact. They have to look at their interviews with her and see if there's inconsistencies. And when you have a circumstantial case, you have to put it together in such a way that you can go to a judge and say, Judge, number one, we believe the child something's happened to the child. The child wasn't given away. The child is missing and could be harmed. We believe that the mother was involved in committing the crime, and we believe that because this is where the mother was with the child in the apartment, that this is where there would be evidence of the crime. You can't just go in and get a search warrant on a suspicion. You have to build the case, and that takes time. I'm sure that's why it took this long.
And remember, everybody, she is not a suspect officially at this time. They are just searching her location, but certainly the case looks very questionable. Let's go to our callers. Let's go to Tracy from Texas. What's your question?
My question is, if the father said that someone came to her house, he sent someone to the house dealing with the baby, I'm thinking that the mama knows more than what she's telling. She has too much information describing the lady and everything. She knows the mother, the lady, whoever got the baby. I'm thinking she knows the name of the person. And also, they also probably paid her, if it's true. But I'm praying that the baby is safe and the baby is not harmed.
No, and we certainly do too as well. And I think there is a lot more to the story. Let's go to Cherie from Ohio. Cherie, what's your question?
I just wanted to know, okay, I don't understand what it is. I believe this young mother is using her child as leverage. If she's going to allow a man who supposedly is the father of her child to tell her to take it to a woman that she doesn't know and just leave her and drop her off, I have no clue why anybody would do that. I wish my son's father would come to me and say, hey, take the baby down the street to this lady. I don't know. You don't need to know her name. You don't need to know where she lives. Just take. I would call the police on him. I don't see how she could do that.
You know, Cherie, I agree with you. No sane human being would ever do that to this beautiful, beautiful baby, to their own child, to any child, especially their own child. It's outrageous. Let's go to defense attorney Ray Giudice. You know, when you hear all this, Ray, you got to go, you know what? What normal person gives the baby? The other point Cherie brought up, I thought was an interesting point. Could there be some sort of custody issue here? Could it be some sort of domestic issue? The guy, you know, the father's, you know, behind bars. Maybe there's some sort of financial, some sort of custody problem. Let's pray that that's what the case is and that the baby's safe and sound.
Well, Rita, let's go with that. Let's paint a picture of how this might not be as bad as everyone thinks it is. Let's say the mother and the father of this child are going through a very heated battle over the custody and the care of this child.
So Ray, she just takes the baby away? I mean, come on.
Let me finish.
All right, go ahead.
And as the mother, she feels she must take immediate steps to protect that child. Maybe the father's getting out of prison. Maybe he's making threats.
So Ray, please don't expect me to feel sorry for this woman.
I'm not at all. But what I am trying to do is make sure that this hour-long conversation focuses not just on this poor mother, a 19-year-old woman that may have had more issues than we understand about. Some of the callers have been very insightful to say there may be more going on here with family members and the father than we're initially led to believe. Let's remember, innocent until proven guilty in this country.
And by the way, and everybody, she is not a suspect, but what kind of mother, what human being waits 8 days? It's outrageous.
That's a bad decision, Rita, but that doesn't necessarily mean...
And it could be a deadly decision.
But it does not necessarily mean that.
No, and let's pray that this beautiful child is alive. Let's pray that this woman, it's a custody issue, and shame on this mother regardless.
19-year-old Shakara Dickens told cops she gave her 9-month-old baby away to a stranger just hours after the baby's father allegedly told Dickens to give the child to an unknown white female. Cops say Dickens claimed she gave baby Lauryn to the female without knowing who she was or where she lives.